Everyone wants to turn 100 into 10,000, but very few ever do. Not because the market is unfair, but because most traders chase shortcuts instead of sharpening the only real edge they have: their mind. Trading isn't about luck, secret indicators, or magic strategies. It's about building habits that compound inside you long before your balance grows on screen. You see, charts, signals, and news, they're just tools. But your mindset, that's the engine. Your patience, your discipline, your reactions under pressure, that's what decides if your 100 grows or disappears. The biggest habit: patience. Most new traders want instant results. They can't sit still. They see a candle move and jump in, even when their gut says, not yet. But patience isn't about waiting, it's about control. It's the skill of saying no when your emotions scream yes. Every moment you hold back builds mental capital, and that compounds faster than money ever will. Then comes discipline, the silent power behind every great trader. Discipline means doing the right thing even when it's boring. Risking just 1-2% per trade might feel slow, but it's how you protect your future self. Without discipline, even the best strategy becomes chaos. With it, even an average strategy becomes gold. Next, journaling, your personal mirror. Don't just write profits and losses. Write your emotions. What did you feel when you entered? Why did you exit? When you review your trades honestly, you start seeing the real battle, not on charts but in your head. That's where every trader either wins or loses. Risk management is another one. Most beginners gamble. They chase high rewards, ignoring that every trade has a cost, risk. Smart traders think in probabilities, not emotions. They know a loss isn't failure, it's data, it's feedback. Protecting capital is more powerful than chasing wins. That's how you survive long enough to grow. And then comes visualization. Before you even open your platform, see yourself executing perfectly, calm, focused, controlled. When the real trade comes, your brain already knows what to do. That's how pros stay composed while others panic. But here's the truth no one tells you. The real game is consistency. It's not about doing everything perfectly once. It's about doing the right thing every single day, following your rules, even when it's hard. Avoiding FOMO, even when the chart looks tempting. One disciplined action might not change your account, but hundreds of them will. That's the magic of compounding behavior. Emotional control ties it all together. Every trader faces the same temptations: to overtrade, to chase losses, to abandon the plan. The difference is how you respond. You don't fight your emotions, you understand them, control them, and act logically. That's mastery. And mastery isn't built overnight, it's built trade by trade. Finally, the habit that never ends: continuous learning. Markets change, conditions shift, but growth never stops. Every win, every loss, every mistake is a teacher, if you're humble enough to listen. The traders who last are the ones who adapt, because the moment you think you've figured it out, the market will remind you, you haven't. So if you want to turn 100 into 10,000, stop hunting shortcuts. Build habits that compound. Be patient when others rush. Be disciplined when others gamble. Be calm when others panic. Each trade, each decision, each controlled reaction is a brick in your foundation. Over time, those bricks build something unshakable, not just financial growth, but mental strength. Trading isn't about predicting the market. It's about mastering yourself. When you train your mind to stay calm, focused, and consistent, your results become inevitable. That's the real compounding, not of money, but of mindset. So the question is, are you ready to train your mind like a professional, or will you let emotions control your future? Because the market doesn't reward the smartest trader. It rewards the most disciplined one. Most traders think patience means doing nothing, sitting still while the market moves and hoping for the right setup to appear. But patience isn't passive. It's not waiting in boredom or hesitation. True patience is active control, the ability to stay centered while the world around you tempts you to react. It's the art of restraint, the quiet confidence that tells you, I don't need to chase every move. My move will come. Picture this. Two traders sitting in front of their screens. Both started with 100. The first one can't stop clicking. Every green candle feels like opportunity. Every dip feels like a threat. They jump in early, scared to miss out, and end up watching the market take back what it gave. Over and over again. The second trader, they sit still, they watch, they wait. They're not frozen, they're focused, they're not scared, they're strategic. When their setup finally aligns, their signal, their confirmation, their price level, they move with precision. One trade, not 10. Controlled, not chaotic. While one trader burns out chasing everything, the other compounds by doing less, but doing it right. That's the difference patience makes. It's not just a virtue, it's a weapon. Because in trading, every bad trade avoided is profit protected. Every moment you wait for clarity is capital saved. And over time, those small acts of restraint become the foundation of growth. FOMO, the fear of missing out, is patience's greatest enemy. It whispers in your ear every time the market moves without you. It tells you you're too slow, too cautious, too late. It tricks you into believing that if you don't act now, you'll miss your one shot. But here's the truth. The market isn't a one-time opportunity. It's a lifetime of opportunities. Every day it opens new doors. Every week it gives fresh setups. But when you act from FOMO, you're not trading the market, you're trading your emotions. You're chasing ghosts of moves that are already gone. A trader controlled by FOMO doesn't have a strategy, they have impulses. And impulses destroy consistency. Because when you jump into a trade without waiting for confirmation, you're not being brave, you're being blind. The best traders know this. They've learned to make peace with missing moves. They've learned that it's better to miss a trade and keep your capital than to catch one and lose your composure. Patience teaches you that money grows when you stop trying to force it. Think about it, the market is like the ocean. You can't control the waves. You can only ride them when the timing is right. If you paddle too early, you waste energy. If you paddle too late, you miss the wave. But if you wait, if you watch the rhythm, if you align your movement with the market's flow, that's when the ride feels effortless. In trading, waiting is not wasted time, it's invested time. Every moment you spend observing price action, studying behavior, learning market rhythm, that's your edge sharpening quietly. You're not being unproductive. You're training yourself to act only when probability favors you. That's how professionals think. They know that success in the market doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing less, better. Patience also builds another invisible skill, emotional strength, because when you can sit through uncertainty without panic, you're developing control that few traders ever achieve. The market tests this daily: sudden spikes, fake-outs, volatility. It wants to see who will flinch first. And patience is your shield. It tells you, I don't have to react. I choose when to move. Every time you hold yourself back from an impulsive trade, you're building internal capital, mental capital, and that capital compounds just like money does. Each act of restraint reinforces your discipline. Each avoided mistake builds confidence. And over time, your growth becomes visible not only in your account, but in your mindset. Here's the truth. Patience is not built by winning trades. It's built in the moments you choose not to trade. When you watch a setup almost form and then fall apart. When you feel the urge to enter but decide to wait for confirmation. When you sit through hours or days of sideways movement without losing focus. That's where your growth happens. In silence, in stillness, in self-control. Most new traders believe trading is about speed, being the first to act. But real traders know it's about timing, acting only when it matters. You don't get paid for activity, you get paid for accuracy. Every click that comes from impatience costs you twice, once in money and once in mental energy. The cost of overtrading isn't just losses, it's burnout. Patience shifts your mindset from chasing every move to waiting for your move. You stop trying to predict what will happen and start responding to what's happening. You stop trying to control the market and start controlling yourself. That's where mastery begins. The greatest traders in history weren't the ones who took the most trades. They were the ones who waited the longest for the right ones. Jesse Livermore said it best: "It was never my thinking that made the big money. It was always my sitting." The market rewards those who can sit still longer than others. And yet, patience doesn't mean inaction. It's a balance between observation and readiness. You study, you plan, you prepare. So when your moment finally comes, you don't hesitate. You execute with conviction because you've earned that clarity through waiting. That's the beauty of patience. When you finally act, it's not emotional. It's intentional. So how do you build this habit? You start small. You set rules. No trade until full confirmation. You limit your trades. You track every impulsive action and study what triggered it. You treat waiting as work, because it is. You learn to find satisfaction not in clicking the button, but in controlling the urge to do so. Over time, this becomes your edge. You'll notice you trade less, but win more. Your losses shrink, your stress decreases, your confidence rises. You'll start to feel calm in moments that once made you panic, because patience transforms you from a gambler into a strategist. Remember this line and let it sink deep. Sometimes the strongest move you make is not moving at all. That's patience. That's power. That's how small accounts survive long enough to grow big. Because it's not the trader who acts first that wins. It's the one who waits until it truly matters. Every trader wants freedom, financial independence, time, the ability to live life on their own terms. But here's the paradox: the road to freedom is built on discipline. The very thing people try to escape, rules, structure, control, is what actually sets them free in the market. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, but it's the foundation under every successful trader's journey. Without it, no strategy works. With it, even an average one can create extraordinary results. Discipline is simple to understand but brutally hard to live. Because it demands you to do what's right even when you don't feel like it. It demands control when emotions scream for chaos. It asks you to trust your plan when your heart wants to improvise. And that's what separates dreamers from doers in trading. Picture this: you open your platform, and your setup looks close, but not quite ready. Price is near your entry zone, your indicators almost align, but something's missing. The impatient trader thinks, it's close enough, I'll just enter now. The disciplined trader thinks, close enough isn't good enough. They wait. They trust their plan, and in that small moment, that single decision to stay aligned with their rules, the gap between winning and losing is created. The difference is invisible at first. The impatient trader might even make quick profits, but long term, the lack of discipline erodes everything: consistency, confidence, capital. It's death by 1,000 small emotional decisions. Because the market punishes inconsistency with ruthless precision. Discipline isn't about being perfect, it's about being consistent. You'll still make mistakes, you'll still take losses. But discipline ensures you learn from them instead of repeating them. It's the habit of sticking to your plan even when your emotions want to rewrite it. The undisciplined trader trades on hope. The disciplined trader trades on rules. Hope feels good in the moment, but costs you in the end. Rules feel restrictive in the moment, but protect you in the long run. Let's be honest. Discipline feels uncomfortable because it often goes against what we want right now. It's saying no to over-leveraging when you crave fast results. It's closing your platform after hitting your daily limit, even when your ego wants to win it back. It's cutting a loss at your stop, even when every cell in your body says, just hold, it'll come back. Discipline is built in those moments, when you have every reason to break your rules but choose not to. That's what most people never understand. Discipline isn't tested when things go right, it's tested when everything goes wrong. When the trade moves against you, when you face consecutive losses, when you feel doubt creeping in, that's when discipline either breaks or builds you. Imagine a pilot flying through turbulence. The sky shakes, alarms beep, visibility drops. What does the pilot do? They don't panic, they don't guess, they don't let emotions take over. They trust their instruments, their training, their process. That's discipline. You might not control the market, but you can control your actions within it. You follow your plan not because it always wins, but because it keeps you alive when others crash. Trading is not about being right all the time. It's about being prepared all the time. Discipline ensures that even when you're wrong, you're protected. That's why risk management and discipline go hand in hand. You might lose a trade, but you won't lose yourself. Discipline also means respecting your process, journaling every trade, reviewing every mistake, studying every outcome, not for punishment, but for improvement. Every line in that journal is a mirror. It shows you patterns, habits, impulses you didn't even know existed. That's how you evolve, by being brutally honest with yourself. But here's what makes discipline powerful: it's not about restriction, it's about freedom. Think of it like this: a musician follows structure, notes, rhythm, and timing. That discipline allows them to create beautiful music. Without structure, it's just noise. Trading works the same way. Your rules create rhythm. Your discipline turns chaos into harmony. When you truly embrace discipline, something amazing happens. Your emotions stop controlling you. You stop chasing losses. You stop revenge trading. You stop making decisions out of fear or greed. Instead, your actions start to come from logic, not impulse. That's when trading stops feeling like gambling and starts feeling like mastery. Every time you follow your plan, even if the trade ends in a loss, you win. Because you prove to yourself that your emotions don't own you anymore. That's real progress. That's strength. But building discipline isn't about sudden transformation, it's about repetition. You don't become disciplined overnight. You become disciplined every time you choose rules over emotions. Every time you follow your stop, loss instead of hope. Every time you walk away after hitting your limit. Each act of discipline adds a brick to your foundation. And yes, there will be days when discipline feels like a cage. When you watch the market explode after you stop trading for the day. When you see a missed move that could have doubled your account. That's when most traders break. But that's also when great traders are made. Because discipline is a long game. You're not trading to win today, you're trading to still be in the game tomorrow. Think about this: a disciplined trader might take only 203 perfect trades a week. An impulsive one might take 20. The first trader grows slowly but steadily. The second one grows fast, then loses faster. Who wins in the long run? Always the one who respects the process. Discipline is a shield against your worst impulses. It protects you when excitement, greed, or fear try to take over. It's the quiet voice that says, follow the plan, trust the system, stay calm. And that voice, if you listen long enough, will guide you through every storm the market throws your way. The truth is, you don't need to be the smartest trader. You don't even need to have the best strategy. You just need to be disciplined enough to keep doing the right thing, over and over, long after your emotions beg you to stop. Remember, this discipline isn't built in comfort. It's built in chaos. Every time you stay calm under pressure, you strengthen your edge. Every time you obey your rules, you prove to yourself that you're in control. Trading will test you. It will tempt you. It will break you down until all that's left is your mindset. But if your discipline survives, everything else will follow, because markets reward structure, not emotion. They reward patience, consistency, and the quiet power of a trader who knows when to act and when to hold back. So build your discipline like a fortress. Protect it at all costs, because when you master it, no market condition, no loss, no drawdown, no emotion can shake you. Without discipline, knowledge is chaos. With discipline, even average knowledge becomes power. That's the bridge between desire and results, and every trader who crosses it never looks back. The market doesn't destroy traders. Emotions do: fear, greed, hope, desperation. These invisible forces quietly hijack decisions, one click at a time, until what started as strategy turns into chaos. Emotional control is not about becoming emotionless. It's about understanding your emotions so deeply that they no longer control you. Every trader has felt it. That rush of excitement when a trade moves in profit, the punch of panic when it reverses, the fire of anger after a loss. These are not signs of weakness, they're signs of being human. But in trading, humanity must be managed, because the market doesn't care how you feel. It only responds to how you act. Picture this: you've taken 3 losses in a row. You're frustrated, tense, angry at the charts, at yourself, at everything. You say, I just need one win to get it back. You double your position size. You force an entry that doesn't match your plan. You chase. And then the market takes again. Harder. That one emotional trade doesn't just cost money, it costs control. Now contrast that with another trader. Same 3 losses, same frustration. But this trader takes a step back, breathes, walks away, reviews what went wrong. They feel the same emotions: fear, disappointment, maybe even doubt. But they don't act on them. They let emotions pass through like waves, not walls. That's emotional control, not the absence of feeling, but the mastery of response. Emotional traders burn out not because they lose trades, but because they lose perspective. Every small dip feels personal. Every loss feels like failure. But when you build emotional control, you stop taking the market's moves as judgment. You start seeing them as information. A losing trade isn't an insult. It's feedback, it's data. And when you start thinking that way, emotions lose their grip. Fear is the first emotion that every trader must face. Fear of losing. Fear of missing out. Fear of being wrong. It whispers before every click, what if this fails? But fear, when understood, becomes a guide. It reminds you to manage risk, to wait for confirmation, to protect your capital. Fear becomes destructive only when it drives action instead of awareness. Then there's greed, the quiet destroyer of consistency. Greed tells you, just one more trade, just one more win, double your lot size, ride the move longer. It promises power but delivers pain, because greed blinds you to logic. It makes you forget the process that built your growth in the first place. And then comes revenge, the most dangerous emotion of all. You lose money, and suddenly you're not trading the market anymore. You're fighting it. You start chasing losses, forcing trades, trying to prove something. But the market is emotionless. It can't be beaten. It only mirrors what's inside you. When you act from revenge, you're not avenging your loss. You're repeating it. Emotional control begins when you realize that your emotions are signals, not commands. They tell you something about your state. Fear means uncertainty. Greed means overconfidence. Frustration means imbalance. Learn to listen without reacting. Observe without obeying. That's how you regain control. Every professional trader has systems not just for entries and exits, but for emotions. They know when to stop trading. They know when to step away. They know when their mind isn't clear. And they don't fight through it, they rest through it. Because they understand this truth: the market doesn't reward intensity. It rewards clarity. Think of trading like driving a car on a mountain road. When visibility drops, you don't accelerate, you slow down, you stay steady, you respect the curve. Emotional control is that awareness, knowing when to slow, when to wait, when to pause. Most traders crash not because of lack of skill, but because they drive too fast through emotional fog. Let's go deeper. Emotional control isn't built by winning trades, it's forged in the pain of losing ones. It's built when you take a loss calmly, when you close a position without hesitation because your stop, loss hit, when you stick to your plan even after a bad outcome. Each time you resist the urge to react emotionally, you grow stronger. The mind of an emotionally controlled trader is like still water, reflective, calm, responsive. They don't suppress emotions, they process them. They feel fear, but act with logic. They feel greed, but respond with patience. They feel excitement, but still wait for confirmation. Their strength lies not in emotionless coldness, but in emotional maturity. Here's a powerful truth: you can't control the market, but you can control yourself. And if you can control yourself, you can trade any market. The traders who survive aren't the ones who predict price perfectly. They're the ones who stay calm when everyone else panics. When volatility hits, they don't freeze. They don't chase. They execute their plan with precision because they've trained for chaos. They've rehearsed control in calm times so that it becomes automatic in storms. So how do you build this kind of control? Start by becoming aware of your emotional triggers. Journal not just your trades but your feelings during them. Were you anxious before entry? Did greed kick in when you saw green? Did fear make you exit early? Awareness is step one. You can't control what you don't see. Next, set boundaries. Create emotional guardrails. Decide your maximum number of trades per day. Define your daily loss limit, and when you hit it, stop. Walk away. The market will always be there tomorrow. You can't fight emotion with willpower. You fight it with systems that protect you when your mind can't. And most importantly, learn detachment. You are not your P&L. A red day doesn't define your worth, just like a green day doesn't prove your greatness. The market is not a reflection of who you are. It's just a mirror showing how you respond under pressure. When you detach your identity from outcomes, emotional control becomes natural. Remember, emotional control doesn't mean being cold or robotic. It means being aware, composed, and centered. It's the calm voice in your mind that says, breathe, stay patient, follow the plan. It's what allows you to survive the losing streaks and maximize the winning ones. Every trader eventually realizes that trading is not about charts. It's about character. The screen shows numbers, but what's really being tested is your mindset. Can you stay calm under pressure? Can you remain rational when the market tempts you to act emotionally? Can you make decisions based on logic instead of impulse? Those who can, last. Those who can't, fade. Because the truth is, emotional control is your real strategy. Strategies come and go, indicators change, market conditions evolve. That's self-control, that's timeless. It works in every market, every era, every condition. So the next time your hands tremble before clicking, buy or sell, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, am I acting from a plan or from emotion? That single question can save your account more times than any indicator ever will. The most powerful traders in the world don't conquer the market. They conquer themselves. They've mastered silence amid noise, control amid chaos, clarity amid confusion. They are calm when others panic, patient when others rush, disciplined when others gamble. Because they understand this one truth that changes everything: the market rewards emotional control more than it rewards intelligence. Trading isn't about predicting where price goes next. It's about controlling how you respond when it gets there. So train your emotions, observe them, respect them, but never obey them. Because when you master your emotions, you master your edge. And once you master your edge, 100 can become 10 zalozenv, not through luck but through control. The fastest way to grow an account is not by making more. It's by losing less. Every professional trader knows this truth, but very few beginners truly understand it. Risk management isn't a rule, it's survival. It's the oxygen of trading, invisible, often ignored, but absolutely essential. Without it, even the sharpest strategy suffocates. Most traders blow their accounts not because they can't find good setups, but because they can't control their exposure. They trade too big, too soon, too emotionally. They risk half their account on one sure thing. But here's the irony. In trading, the more certain you feel, the more danger you're probably in. The market doesn't reward confidence, it rewards control. Risk management is the discipline of restraint, of knowing when not to go all in, of knowing that survival today means growth tomorrow. Picture two traders. Both start with 100. Trader A risks 25 per trade. Trader B risks $2. Trader A feels like a hero when his first trade wins. His account jumps to 125. But when the next two trades fail, he's done. Account gone. Game over. Trader B, on the other hand, plays the long game. His first few trades are small, boring, even. But as his skill compounds, so does his account. He survives the volatility that kills the impatient. Risk management isn't about avoiding losses. It's about controlling their size so that no single trade can destroy your future. Every loss is a bruise, not a bullet. That's the mindset difference between gambling and professional trading. Here's the brutal truth: your job as a trader isn't to make money every day. It's to protect your ability to make money tomorrow. If you blow your capital, you lose your seat at the table. You can't play the game you're trying to win. That's why the best traders treat their capital like oxygen: precious, limited, and never wasted. You can always find another setup, another opportunity, another trend. But once your capital is gone, your ability to act disappears. Risk management keeps that ability alive. Let's make this simple: every dollar in your account is a soldier. Send them to battle wisely. Never risk your entire army on one fight. Protect your troops so they can fight again tomorrow. A single loss should never wipe out your army. It should only teach it how to fight smarter. Every trader wants big returns, but the irony is, big growth comes from small risks repeated consistently. When you risk 2% per trade, you give yourself space to learn, adapt, and recover. You stay alive long enough for your edge to compound. Think of risk management as your insurance against your own humanity. Because no matter how experienced you are, emotions will always sneak in. Fear will make you exit too early. Greed will tempt you to hold too long. Confidence will whisper, "You can double your size this time." Risk management protects you from those whispers. It keeps your trading grounded in math, not emotion. Let's talk about probabilities. Every trade is a bet on an uncertain outcome. Even the best setups fail. You can have a 70% win rate and still face 3 to 4 losses in a row. Without risk management, that streak destroys you. With it, it barely scratches you. When you limit your risk per trade, you give probability time to work in your favor. The law of large numbers only rewards those who survive long enough to let it play out. That's why patience and risk control go hand in hand. One protects your capital, the other protects your mindset. Together, they create compounding. Many traders misunderstand what compounding really is. They think it's about stacking profits. But real compounding begins when you stop losing unnecessarily. Every bad trade avoided, every small loss cut early, every emotion resisted. That's compounding discipline. It's not as exciting as doubling your account in a week, but it's what builds wealth in a year. There's a quote professional traders live by: die. Your first goal isn't to make money, it's to never lose all of it. If you think of trading as a war of endurance, risk management is your armor. It won't make you invincible, but it will keep you alive through the battles that wipe out the unprepared. Now, let's talk about something few mention: ego risk. Every trader faces two kinds of risk: financial risk and ego risk. Financial risk is measurable. It's your stop loss, your position size, your account exposure. Ego risk is hidden. It's when you refuse to take a loss because you can't be wrong. It's when you move your stop loss lower, hoping the market comes back. It's when you average down, not because it's logical, but because your ego can't handle the loss. Ego risk destroys more accounts than bad strategies ever will. Because it blinds you, it makes you trade to prove something instead of trading to win. And when ego takes control, risk management disappears. The trader becomes the risk. To overcome ego risk, humility must become a habit. You must accept that being wrong is normal, that losing is part of the job. Every great trader has lost more trades than you've taken. What separates them is that they lost small, they lost smart, they lived to fight another day. Here's a simple exercise that can change your trading forever. Before every trade, ask yourself, if this goes wrong, can I survive it emotionally and financially? If the answer is no, your position size is too big. If losing this trade would make you break your plan, you're not managing risk, you're gambling. Risk management is freedom. It frees you from fear because you already know the worst case scenario. When your risk is defined, you can trade with clarity. You can execute with confidence because no single trade threatens your journey. Think of it this way: every time you set a stop loss, you're not just protecting money, you're protecting your mental capital. Every dollar lost hurts less than the confidence destroyed by recklessness. The difference between a trader who grows and one who blows up isn't strategy, it's survival. One focuses on not dying, the other focuses on winning every battle. But only the survivor gets to fight long enough to win the war. Risk management is patience in disguise. It's discipline expressed through numbers. It's emotional control turned into math. It's the quiet, boring habit that no one posts about on social media, but every professional lives by. Here's something powerful to remember. Risk management doesn't limit your freedom, it creates it. When you know your downside, you're free to pursue your upside without fear. You're no longer chained to emotions or losses. You trade knowing that no outcome can destroy you. That's true power. Imagine your 100 account not as a pile of money, but as your apprenticeship fee, your tuition for mastering the craft. Your goal isn't to protect every dollar out of fear, but to use each one wisely to buy experience, discipline, and control. Risk management is how you pay that tuition without going broke. Over time, something magical happens. You stop fearing losses. You start respecting them. You start to understand that risk is not your enemy. It's your partner. It defines the boundaries of your game, and when you respect those boundaries, the game starts to reward you. When traders say, "It's just a small account," what they really mean is, "I don't respect my money yet." Every great trader started small, but they treated their small accounts with the same discipline they would give a 100 Zewalozen account. That mindset is what creates growth. You can't manage a large account until you can protect a small one. Risk management teaches you that discipline long before the zeros multiply. So, protect your capital like it's oxygen, because in the markets it is. Without it, you can't breathe, can't think, can't trade. With it, you have space to grow, space to learn, and space to win. The traders who go from 100 to 10 Zalozen are not the ones chasing profits. They're the ones defending their capital relentlessly. They trade small, they think long, they survive, and that's why they win. Because in trading, survival is success, and success over time becomes compounding, and compounding turns 100 into 10,000. Every trader dreams of flipping 100 into 10,000. But here's the truth no one wants to hear. It doesn't happen because of one big win. It happens because of hundreds of small, consistent decisions made with discipline, patience, and purpose. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's not the viral chart you post. It's not the jackpot trade that doubles your account overnight. It's the quiet, repetitive discipline that happens when no one's watching. It's logging every trade, following your plan, managing your risk, controlling your emotions. Over and over again. Consistency is boring to the impulsive, but to the disciplined it's freedom. Think of a blacksmith forging a blade. Every strike looks the same, repetitive, dull, monotonous. But with each hit, the metal strengthens, the shape refines, the steel becomes sharper. That's trading. Every small act of discipline hammers your edge into something unbreakable. Consistency is what transforms effort into mastery. Here's a hard truth. Most traders don't fail because they lack skill. They fail because they can't stay consistent long enough for their skill to compound. They keep restarting, changing strategies, chasing signals, jumping systems. Every reset destroys momentum. And without momentum, there's no compounding, only circles. You've seen it before: 1 week of perfect discipline, followed by one emotional blow, up that wipes it all away. That's inconsistency, the silent killer of progress. But let me tell you something powerful. Consistency isn't about perfection. It's about recovery. It's about getting back on track every time you fall off. Because you will fall off. You'll make impulsive trades. You'll break rules. You'll lose focus. But the consistent trader doesn't quit. They correct. They review, reflect, realign, and return stronger. That's how mastery is built, not in never falling, but in always rising. Let's break this down deeper. Consistency lives in habits, not motivation. Motivation is emotional. It burns hot and fades fast. Habits are structural. They anchor you when your emotions fade. The professional trader doesn't rely on feeling ready. They rely on systems that keep them steady. Here's what consistency really looks like: waking up at the same time to study charts, journaling every trade, win or loss, following your plan even when it feels boring, risking the same small percentage every time, taking breaks when emotions rise instead of forcing trades. Tiny actions, repeated daily, create exponential growth. Because every consistent behavior compounds, not just financially, but mentally. Each day you follow your plan, you build trust with yourself. And when you trust yourself, confidence replaces chaos. Confidence built on consistency is unshakable, because it's earned. You start realizing something profound: the market doesn't pay traders. It pays habits, it pays discipline, it pays process. The chart doesn't care who you are, how smart you sound, or how confident you feel. It only responds to consistency. Every big trader you admire, they all have the same secret: they do the same thing every day. They don't chase new indicators every week. They master one setup, one strategy, one rhythm, and they repeat it until it becomes second nature. Consistency turns strategy into instinct. You stop thinking, start executing. You move from guessing to knowing, from hoping to trusting. But here's the paradox. To be consistent, you must embrace boredom. You must fall in love with repetition. Because repetition is where growth hides. The same analysis, the same checklist, the same execution, over and over. It feels slow, but that's exactly what builds speed later. Most traders fail because they crave excitement. They want action, movement, dopamine. But real trading isn't exciting. It's controlled. The most successful traders look boring on the surface. They trade less. They react slower. But behind that calm is a storm of discipline. They understand that excitement is expensive. and consistency is profitable. Let me give you a perspective shift. Every trade you take is not just about profit or loss. It's a vote for the kind of trader you're becoming. When you follow your plan, you cast a vote for discipline. When you size correctly, you vote for longevity. When you control emotions, you vote for mastery. When you repeat that process daily, your votes start shaping your identity until you become the trader you once dreamed of being. That's the power of consistency. It doesn't just build results, it builds you. Now imagine this. You start with 100, you commit to risking 1% per trade, you aim for just 2-3% growth weekly, small, steady, realistic. It feels slow at first, but after weeks of repetition something changes. You start to trust your process more than your impulses, your trades feel cleaner, your losses feel lighter. Your growth starts compounding quietly in the background. And then, months later, you look at your account, and it's not just bigger, it's stronger. Because your growth isn't just in numbers, it's in mindset. You've become a trader who thinks in systems, not emotions. You've turned chaos into structure. That's when 100 becomes R10,000, not because of one lucky trade, but because of thousands of consistent decisions. Consistency is the bridge between goals and growth, between dreams and results, between potential and mastery. Remember this, you don't need to be the best trader. You just need to be the most consistent one, because consistency compounds, slowly, quietly, relentlessly. And over time that compounding turns into power. When others quit, you stay. When others chase, you wait. When others doubt, you trust your system. That's how traders are made, not in hype but in habit. So if you want to turn 100 into 10,000, stop chasing big wins. Start chasing consistency. Because when your process becomes your passion, profit becomes your product. And that's the ultimate mindset shift. You stop trading for money and start trading like money is the side effect of mastery. Everyone talks about turning 100 into 10,000 like it's a secret formula. Like it's about finding the perfect strategy, the magic setup, the hidden indicator that no one else knows. But after everything we've uncovered, you know the truth now. That transformation doesn't start in your charts, it starts in your mind. Because 100 to 10,000 isn't a financial journey. It's a psychological one. Every trader enters the market thinking they're here to master price action, but what they're really mastering is themselves. The journey from small to great, from fragile to consistent, is built not by market moves, but by mental ones. Let's go back to where it all began. Patience, the art of waiting with purpose. It taught you that trading isn't about catching every move. It's about waiting for your move. You learned that sometimes the strongest action you can take is inaction. That power isn't in prediction. It's in preparation. Every avoided bad trade is capital saved. Every moment of waiting is control earned. Patience is what separates the impulsive from the intentional. The 100 trader who rushes burns out. The one who waits builds. Because in trading, as in life, the longer you can wait for the right opportunity, the bigger your reward when it finally comes. Then came discipline, the anchor that holds you steady when emotion tries to pull you under. Discipline is boring, it's routine, it's repetition. But it's also the foundation of mastery. It's what makes you show up even when the excitement fades. It's what keeps your process alive through losing streaks and winning ones alike. Discipline is how small actions become big results. It's the quiet commitment that says, I will do what needs to be done, even when I don't feel like it. Because the truth is, your dreams don't care about your mood. The market doesn't reward motivation. It rewards consistency of discipline. Then came emotional control, mastering yourself before you try to master the market. You realize that fear, greed, and hope aren't weaknesses. They're signals. And when you stop fighting your emotions and start understanding them, you become untouchable. The moment you stopped taking losses personally, you became free. You stopped seeing red trades as failure and started seeing them as feedback. You learned that trading isn't emotional because of the market. It's emotional because it mirrors you. And when you gain control over that reflection, you gain control over your results. Then came risk management, protecting your capital like it's oxygen. You learned that survival is the real skill, that the goal isn't to win big, it's to not lose big, that your first job isn't to grow your account, but to defend it. Every dollar became a soldier, and your mission was no longer to conquer the market, but to keep your army alive. Because now you understand, one great trade doesn't make you rich, but one bad risk can make you broke. Risk management isn't fear, it's freedom. Freedom from panic, freedom from desperation, freedom from blowing up before your potential has time to grow. Because when you protect your downside, your upside takes care of itself. And finally, consistency. The quiet, relentless repetition that transforms process into profit. You discovered that mastery isn't built on intensity. It's built on repetition. That the magic you were looking for wasn't in a strategy, it was in your daily routine. You learned that success doesn't come from one big day. It comes from hundreds of ordinary days executed extraordinarily well. Consistency isn't exciting, it's not flashy. But it's undefeated. It turns doubt into data, fear into focus, and plans into results. It's what separates those who dabble from those who dominate. Now you see it clearly, these 5 habits aren't just trading principles. They're life principles. Patience, discipline, emotional control, risk management, consistency. They're not just how you grow your account. They're how you grow yourself. Because when your mind compounds, your account follows. Every trade you take is a reflection of your mindset. Every reaction a reflection of your control. Every loss a reflection of your resilience. The trader who can master these habits doesn't just multiply money, they multiply character. And character is the foundation that holds wealth when it comes. So now the question isn't, can you turn 100 into $10? The question is, will you? Will you chase signals, or will you train your mind? Will you keep jumping from strategy to strategy, or will you master one until it becomes instinct? Will you treat trading as a lottery, or as a craft? Because the market doesn't care how badly you want it. It only rewards how deeply you've trained for it. The truth is, the charts you're staring at every day aren't moving against you. They're reflecting you, your impatience, your ego, your fear, your greed. You're not trading charts, you're trading yourself. And the day you master that, the growth becomes inevitable. The 100 isn't small when your mindset is massive, and a 10,000 isn't the end goal, it's the byproduct of who you've become along the way. So, stop searching for shortcuts. Stop waiting for the perfect signal. Stop thinking trading is about timing the market. Because the real timing is when you finally decide to master your mind. That's when everything changes. Because when you trade with patience, discipline, control, protection, and consistency, you're no longer chasing profits, you're becoming profitable. And that's how 100 becomes the $10, not through luck, not through hype, but through you.